Hi, I'm Miss Tracey with the Louisville Public Library, and each week I will be bringing you our Relaxation Reading Club program. Now, the last week of each month, the last video of each month, there will be a grab bag to go along with the video. And what that means is there will be a little bag for you to go and pick up at the library building, and it will have all of the craft supplies and everything you need in that bag to make the craft in the video for that week. So continue to watch the rest of this video to see what fun, amazing, and relaxing things we are doing this week. Hello kids! This week's Relaxation Reading Club is all themed around rainbows and some leprechauns because we have St. Patrick's Day coming up soon. Now I'm going to use our digital service Hoopla to read a book to you today. Our book is called The Leprechaun Who Lost His Rainbow. It was written by Sean Callahan and brought to us with permission to read by Albert Whitman and Company. In the soft drizzle that was falling on St. Patrick's Day, Colleen wished her grandfather good luck. He gave her a piece of red licorice, which was her favorite candy, and then he was off to the parade to play the bagpipes. Her grandfather had told Colleen that the notes he and his bandmates played were like colors on the air. Colors only your ears could see. Playing music is like building a rainbow, he said. A little man I once knew taught me that. Her mom and dad were going to watch the parade from the window, but Colleen sat on the porch, under her yellow umbrella. What if it rained so much that everyone went home and no one heard her grandfather's bagpipes? That would be a shame. His music was so beautiful and so sad it made people smile and cry at once. To pass the time, she played a song on her green penny whistle, which had a tiny shamrock printed on it. Her grandfather had brought it all the way from Ireland. It was her favorite thing in all the world, and she never let anybody touch it. When she finished the tune, she took a bite of her licorice. Just then, a little man appeared on the top step. It was a leprechaun! I like your penny whistle, the little man said. You play very well. Colleen started to say thank you when suddenly the leprechaun jumped into the air and took the licorice stick right out of her mouth. He dropped it into his hat. Thank you, he said. I'll be needing that, or my name's not Roy G. Biv. It's just the shade of red I'm looking for. That little leprechaun. Colleen was shocked. What are you doing? She shouted. Give me my candy. The leprechaun frowned. Your grandfather was much more helpful. You know my grandfather? Colleen asked. Yes, we created a rainbow together back when he was a boy, Mr. Bibb explained. Colleen was puzzled. Could this be the little man her grandfather talked about? Mr. Bibb looked glum. I've lost my rainbow again, and my gold is at the end of it. To be a leprechaun in good standing, I must have gold. So I need someone's help to build a rainbow. He paused, and that someone is you. Colleen frowned. Leprechauns were tricky, and everyone knew that. Could Mr. Bibb be telling the truth? Let me show you something, the leprechaun said. Spin round with that hat and watch what happens. She twirled around, holding the hat. Suddenly, a streak of bright red, just the color of her licorice, sprang out of the hat, hung in the air for a moment, and then disappeared. Colleen was amazed. See, Mr. Bibb said, we're starting to make a rainbow. And if there's a rainbow, the sun will come out to shine on the parade. Colleen took a deep breath. What do we do? For every color, I need something that belongs to you. Something red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Colleen looked around. There was her new orange basketball. She hated to give it up, but she tossed it into Mr. Bibb's hat. Immediately, an orange streak shot out. She gave him her yellow umbrella. Yellow curved under the orange. When her blue ribbons went in, a beautiful blue appeared. Next to go was her indigo headband, and finally her favorite violet scarf. Look at all the colors appear. You're going to have to make one more sacrifice, lass, Mr. Bibb said. I'm going to need your penny whistle with the shamrock on it. That green is the last perfect color I need for my rainbow. Colleen started to cry. No, she said, clutching her precious penny whistle. My grandfather gave it to me. But Colleen, dear, if you give me the penny whistle, you and I can make the sunshine on the parade. And your grandfather, said Mr. Bibb pleadingly. Colleen held the penny whistle to her lips, blew one last sad note. She paused and then dropped the penny whistle into the leprechaun's hat. She gave up her penny whistle. In a flash, the rain stopped. The sun burst through the clouds, and a rainbow, complete with the most beautiful shade of green ever, spread across the sky. The parade goers gazed up in wonder, and Colleen's grandfather began to play the bagpipes. The music was so beautiful and sad that people smiled and cried all at once. Nobody noticed that a pot of gold had appeared at the end of the rainbow, right on Colleen's front lawn. Roy G. Bibb dug his hand into the pot of gold and pulled out a flute that looked just like Colleen's penny whistle. But this wasn't a toy flute, it was a real one made of silver. And there was a shamrock on it that looked just like Colleen's, only this one was made of emeralds. Thanks for sharing with me, Mr. Bibb said as he handed Colleen the flute. And with that, he and his pot of gold were gone. Colleen's grandfather stood in front of her. Who was that you were talking with, he asked. Roy G. Bibb, she said. He's a leprechaun. I thought I recognized him, her grandfather said. He gave me this flute, Grandpa. Ah, 'tis a nice one, silver, just like my bagpipes. What do you say we play a tune? So together they played, When Irish Eyes Are Smiling, the colors danced on the air. And that is the end of our book. Okay, kids, I hope you enjoyed the book about the leprechaun and the rainbow. I know I did. It's one of my favorite stories. Now, to keep our rainbow theme going this week, we are going to make twirling rainbow spinners. Really fun to play with. I love making this craft. To make this one, all you're going to need is different colors of paper for the colors of the rainbow. If you don't have construction paper, like I always say, you can use notebook paper, plain white paper, and color it with some markers. Make your own colored paper. That's totally fine. You'll also need glue stick, scissors, and you will want a pencil, like a pencil with an eraser, and like a little push pin. I'm sure Mom or Dad have one of these where they hang notes maybe somewhere in the house. Just please be careful with the sharp point. Okay, the next step, you're going to want to cut really thin strips of each color of your paper. And don't worry about how long they are. We'll just shorten them all up to the same length at the end when we're done cutting them. A lot easier that way. And they don't have to be exactly perfect, just real skinny strips. Now, if you remember the name of the leprechaun in the book, we need all the colors of our rainbow twirlers to match his name, Roy G. Bibb. So you'll want red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Now that you have all your strips cut out, you're going to want to put them all together and make sure all the ends are the same at the same end. Just one end. You want all the ends lined up. Okay, you have all your ends lined up, and the other ends might be a little uneven. Just go ahead and give it all one trim all at one time to get them all the same length. See? Now, to make the part that holds all of our strips together, you're going to want to use one of your pieces of paper, doesn't matter what color, and you're going to cut out 4 circles. And they don't even have to be perfect circles. Don't even worry about getting a pencil. Just go ahead and cut out 4 pretty good sized circles. I'll get one cut out here to show you about what size I'm talking about. See, maybe about that size there. See, compared to the pencil? You want 4 of them. Alright kids, your first step then with your 4 circles and your strips of paper, you're going to take your glue stick, cover that circle in some glue, and take your strips and glue them around that circle. I'll get a couple on here so you can see how to place them. They don't have to be any certain distance apart. You're just taking them all the way around the circle. After you have all your strips on there, I just put a little bit more glue on over top of the strips and put another piece of paper on top of that to hold them all in place. Now after our glue's dried for just a moment, we're going to do the same to the other end of the strips. Now it's not as easy, but it's not too difficult either. Start out the same way, put some glue on your circle, and you're going to bring your strips up and glue them onto the other circle, just like this. Same thing as how we did on the other one, except it's not on the table. You got to hold it. That's what makes it a little bit more difficult, but it's still an easy, fun craft. And just like we did with the bottom part, add a little bit extra glue on top of those strips and glue the other circle on. So you have both ends of your strings or strips of paper in between the 2 circles on each end. And you'll want to let that dry for a couple minutes before we move on to the next step. Okay kids, now that our glue's dry, you're going to take your scissors. Very carefully, use the point of a scissor, and you're going to poke a hole right in the center of one of those circles. Doesn't matter which one, just one of them. And you want to turn it around. You want to make that hole a pretty good size. Basically bigger than what your pencil is. And you can test it by putting your pencil in. Your pencil should be really loose inside that hole. If you have to wiggle the pencil around in there a little bit, it should have a lot of wiggle room. It shouldn't be tight. Then push that other circle right down on top of the pencil on the eraser, and you're going to take your push pin. Watch your fingers. You're going to push through the paper right into the eraser. Then you'll grab your pencil at the bottom and start spinning, and you have your rainbow spinner. That is our craft for this week, and join me next week for more fun. Bye. Thank you so much again for watching the video and joining me this week for more relaxation and fun. Please remember to leave some comments on the video or in the watch party. And And also, please go ahead and comment how many people are with you that are watching the video, especially if you are in classroom watching the video. Knowing the number of viewers we have really does help support the library, and we'd appreciate it. So join me next week for more fun and relaxation, and I hope you all stay safe and healthy. Don't forget to mask up. Bye.